Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
All right.
All right.
Get it? Oh. You're going to make me. She won't do it.
Hi.
You got to talk to her. This is
A True Queen Show.
I'm Erin.
I'm Zoe.
Yeah. And we wanted to do a special podcast because we're kind of hoping to do some interviews, but we haven't gotten to those yet. The queens we want to interview are very busy. Very busy.
Very.
So, but something happened.
Police are on their fucking way. Take that bullshit out of here. Cause don't nobody in this fucking place give a fuck what you think. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. We don't give a fuck. You're in Mid-South, motherfucker. We're gay. We're proud. We're gonna keep on being gay. Keep on being motherfucking proud. Bring your protest somewhere else, bitch.
We went to our usual Wednesday night drag at Park Tavern.
Mm-hmm. And there was some people there that did not like that we were doing drag.
Well, we weren't doing
drag,
it, but there was a drag show happening.
Yeah, and that was there. And at first, they weren't even, protesting. They came into the room. They sat at a big table because there was like a lot of people. There was a lot.
They had a weird vibe. Everybody was kind of watching them, but nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was like almost like a big, huge family because there were kids.
It really did look like a
big family.
I don't know if it was though.
Don't have a clue.
It might have been, but and they left or went somewhere and then came back with a tiny little speaker and a microphone that sounded horrible. And
it was tiny.
It was very tiny.
It was little, but they were trying.
Yeah.
And they certainly didn't interrupt.
Yep. And it was during trivia. They
actually interrupted
trivia. I think it either was starting in the middle or ending. Doesn't matter. But then they just started yelling about something. I couldn't even hear. And then
so I will tell you what they were yelling. They were a religious group saying that the people that were there at Park Tavern needed to be saved, and they were trying to say that they understood they used to be not right with God or something. I don't know exactly, but not right with God or something, and that we could get saved and we'd be okay if we did that. The world is ending. We're all going to burn. It was really dramatic.
We were going to hell.
Yeah, it was really dramatic and very negative. And for them to come into the building, I thought was odd.
Yeah.
Because, you've got a public park right on that property. You could easily just do it to the public or in the parking lot, but they came into the building.
Inside, everybody. They had children too.
They did. They had a little baby. I don't know. I think the babies looked confused because it was aggressive.
Yeah.
It was rude.
They were trying to be loud, but since the speaker was so small and everybody was talking.
The patrons were not pleased with their appearance and their stage performance. That is not what there were people there to watch a women's soccer game and people to watch drag.
Not everybody
drink and eat. Nobody really.
Not everybody was there for drag.
No, of course not.
Not most of the times, but a lot of the time, people are there to watch the games and stuff because it's still
it's a sports bar.
Yeah, it's a sports bar. It's a bar, and they're always showing some kind of game that's going on. So,
but they upset a lot of people. And one of those people happens to be Zoe.
Oh, yeah.
Zoe was upset by it. Do you want to say why you were upset by it?
So, first off, when they came in, I was confused at first because you were asking, have they been kicked out? What is going, like, what's happening?
There was definitely a weird vibe
You-
when they
yeah.
walked in, so I had questions, but my back was to them, so I was trying to see if Zoe had any
Yeah, 'cause
information, if she saw
for
anybody say anything.
For what I saw, the people that were protesting came in. They sat at a big table. I think it doesn't matter. They sat at a very big table with everybody there. And then they just sat there for a second, and then they walked off. And then came back like starting to yell and everything. So at first, all they were doing was sitting and just being there. But
You're repeating a lot. We don't need to
I
know
know.
this part of the story.
I was scared. I had no idea what was going on. All they were doing was yelling about how we needed to be saved and how we were going to hell, and like how this was like not the right thing, and how we needed to fix our relationship with God.
It didn't seem
It didn't
appropriate
really-
to.
That was.
It didn't seem like the right place,
Yeah.
or the right time, because it wasn't, like we said, it's not specifically about drag. There's so many drag shows in Atlanta that we would love to be going to but can't. But there are so many shows that are specifically centered around drag, and these, I guess, honestly, I feel like maybe they just happened upon a poster or heard something and decided to come in, and when they saw that it was like that, they were like, yeah, we're gonna go to our car and get our speaker now. I don't think they planned it. But it was definitely not their best choice, because there were some drunk folks that just wanted to be left alone. And then, of course, the queens and the LGBTQAI that were there did not appreciate it. Of course, why would they, being told they're going to burn in hell and all that other stuff? Nobody wants to hear that. And it's inaccurate anyway. But it was just aggressive and unnecessary and rude. And what I would say about it being rude is that, for me, people are working. There are bar staff, there's waiters, there's bus boys, there's, the managers that work there, and then there's the queens. They're there, they're working. That's their job. They're there to make money and make a living, to entertain us. And then, of course, you've got your patrons that are there just to eat some food, have a drink, and possibly watch some sports. It's just rude to interrupt all that. People are just trying to chill and have a good time on an evening, just to hang out. And it took away from our entertainment. Yeah. It took away from their ability to perform, the queens, to perform and make their tips. And, hopefully none of that affected their pay for the night, because I don't think they work on just tips. Yeah. And then, of course, the feelings of the LGBTQAI were hurt. And so people were sad and angry. And there's not a whole lot you want to do about that other than fight back. But a certain amount of fighting back and you get in trouble. Police were called to make them go away. And there were a couple of people who put some hands on some folks that probably shouldn't have done it. There
were people that were there that were watching the drag show, and they were trying to fight, and it was just...
There were one or two people who definitely were not
there was a lot going on at one time.
Properly. I don't think that those people should have come in aggressively, but I also don't think to fight back with aggression is all that useful. Yeah. It's that it just turns into one big fight. And what's the point? Nobody's going to listen or learn anything. No. So the problem is all of that ruckus and hurt upset everyone. It upset the people that were protesting,
the people that were in the bar.
It upset Zoe. And of course, that's personal for me. So that's why we're doing the show about it, because it scared and upset her, because she's trying to figure out why there's aggressive people coming in. She's trying to figure out why the people that she cares about and she's made friends with are crying and upset. And it's unpleasant. And the worst part is it was all completely unnecessary. Yeah. This is the point of the show. There's nothing wrong with these people doing drag to make a living.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with someone who happens to be LGBTQAI. They are honestly that the fact that we even have a category is kind of silly to me. That we're all in some sort of
Yeah.
category. I don't understand that.
It's
I
also
guess it's just easier
confusing.
for people, but I don't need to be in a category. I don't understand that. But I don't know why we can't just leave people alone. If you like something, you like something.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's all kinds of arguments where some ignorant person is going to come up with some lame ass thing. Oh, what if this is is that okay too? You know what? You do you, boo. I don't. You do you. But when you scare my kid, it's going to piss me off. I'm not happy.
What I was trying to figure out is, why are people crying?
Yeah.
Why are people yelling about we're going to hell? This is not the right
yelling
thing.
in general, because even the people, the patrons, were upset, yelling back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
your friends were hurt and crying and upset.
I was scared because of that. Like, everybody's yelling. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I'm trying to help, but I can't really do anything about
Definitely
it.
should stay away from that. And then everybody that did want to leave had to be walked out to the parking lot, which upset you.
Yes. The fact that you even have to have somebody walk you to
some sort of security
parking lot, or like have some kind of like bodyguard is not right.
Power in numbers. It's sad to have that, because we're not used to that in Atlanta. Honestly, I know a lot of people worry about it and think about it, but we visit there enough. I mean, honestly, my policy is don't start none, won't be none. I don't have issues up there. I don't have issues with people. People are plenty nice. They're helpful. They make space. I don't have any problems. Even with the homeless people, they do get a little aggressive sometimes. But I mean, honestly, man, they're begging for money. What do you expect them to do? Just go, oh yeah, never mind, we're good. So I mean, sometimes they come after you a little extra, but nobody ever gets mean. I've never had a problem. I have more problems out here with people driving stupid than I do in downtown Atlanta, honestly. But so we've got security going to and from the parking lot now to help people, to make sure that nobody's going to get aggressive again. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You've got a public park, you've got the parking lot, you've got the entire city to work with, and you had to come into this building and interrupt a people's workday, interrupt people's income, and all because you're against this one thing that you honestly know nothing about and don't understand. Instead, why don't you say, you know what? I don't agree with this. Why don't we have a conversation about why you do it? Which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to ask these queens what is the reason they do this job. Why do they like it? What do they, and it's a job. Yeah. It's entertainment. It's art.
It's their work. They're just...
And that's the biggest thing to me, is you interrupted everything.
It felt like they were just bullying us.
Well, and that's honestly, I know it's a True Queen show, and we do talk about drag queens. I want to interview queens. But as we said in that first little introduction episode, bullying, straight up. I'm so sick of all of it. I'm sick of every level.
Period is just not okay.
I just don't get it. The public school system bullying parents and kids, and the kids being bullied in school, and politicians bullying, and with the voting and all this. It's like, it's just so much everywhere. Oh, people that have a certain diet that they want, between the meat eaters, the vegans, the vegetarians, the gluten-frees, the halal. I mean, there's like a million of them. Why do we care? Why are we talking about any of it? Just look at somebody and say, I can't eat that because of this. And that's it. Okay, cool. My bad. Don't eat that then. I wish I had something for you. I probably do, because I usually know more than one person who has a special diet. So, I mean, I'm accommodating to that. Just like I'm thinking you need to be okay that if you watch me eat a steak, that you're not going to complain. Like, I don't complain about you eating nothing but vegetables or nuts. I don't know. Like, get over it. I personally, consider myself a Christian.
Yeah.
And I thought that their display was disgusting as a Christian.
Because not everybody who believes in God or is a Christian or whatever is, like, hateful. Or
the way they came in was hateful,
yeah. Or, like, how they, or even why they did that.
Are you good?
No.
Get your thoughts together. Breathe.
I was telling you in the car, I was very scared, confused, crying. I was also saying like how I really wanted to just get up on a table and scream at them.
Yeah,
Like,
which sucks, because why should you have any negative? Why should you have to have a negative reaction to that? Because we've been to church, you've been to VBS, you've been to camps that are religious based. Have any of those people ever made you feel bad or scared you?
No.
So why do you have to come in there and scare people and try to start a fight? They came in there, and whether they want to agree to it or believe it or not, they were there to start a fight.
Yeah.
And that's all it did. Nobody heard you, and in fact, less people are going to hear you now because of what you just did. That did more bad than good. If you want people to become a Christian or be led back to God, because most of them do have a background when they were children where they grew up in some sort of religious home.
Yeah.
And the reason they don't do that anymore is because of people like that. If you could just be basic understanding and ask questions and be loving, it would be a completely different thing. You wouldn't have to bring them back to anything. You wouldn't have to preach to them. They'd already be there. And I would actually prefer that, because I have one of my kids who doesn't really want to do anything religious, which the only thing I said is find something to believe in. And that's not specific to anything, but I think it's better for people mentally. Personally, this is what I think. It's better for people mentally if you have something to believe in. But I have never pushed that on anyone, much less my children. And we seem to do just fine with other people.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any issue when we want to talk about ourselves and what we believe in. It's never a fight.
No.
And I don't think either one of us have ever had a problem talking about what we believe in or would like to believe in or would like to do. There are churches you would like to attend.
Yeah.
Oh, I just don't take her because it's too inconvenient. I'd rather sleep. But it's not because I don't want her to go. It's just I'm lazy sometimes, more than sometimes.
That was very aggressive, and I wrote down in the notes they were bullying us and they were being very demeaning.
Okay, demeaning. That was one of the words you wanted to use. You're right.
Because I had the word in my head and wrote it down, but I didn't quite understand what it meant, so I didn't know if I should.
You got the basic
meaning,
concept, but
you're
not 100% sure.
Yeah. But it says they were very demeaning and bullying us, and that is what they were doing. It scared me. I was crying. It hurt me that these people were trying to tell us this is wrong.
Something
Don't
you
do
enjoy
this.
is wrong.
Something that I love doing. I do as much as I can. And I will go to any drag show that I can.
That you're allowed to.
That I'm allowed to, that I can.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling me you shouldn't be doing this.
And you've made some fun friends. You've made met some such nice people. So many nice people.
All drag queens.
So far,
all drag queens that I've met have been so nice and so sweet. And they're willing to take pictures with me.
And sign autographs.
Yes, and sign autographs.
It's so fun.
Yeah. All the drag shows is drag queens working to make money and trying to entertain.
Just because you don't like it, don't make it wrong. It doesn't make it not art. Mm-hmm. Doesn't make it not entertaining. Just means you don't care for it. So you know what? Don't go.
Don't go.
It's real simple. You just keep walking past. You know,
or if
you don't like that TV show, you just go boop, boop with your little remote control and you just quit watching it. You don't like that song? Oh, that's good. Cool beans. You go boop, boop, and you go right past that song. That's all you got to do. It's real simple.
Like you were saying, instead of doing this and screaming and being aggressive with it, hand out pamphlets, hand out something, or do something less.
The queens have always been really willing to talk to us. I say sit down and ask them.
Yeah.
Look at them and go, hey, you know what? I'm actually really against this. Can you answer some questions for me? Because I don't understand why you would do that. Don't you know it's wrong? Well, no, they don't know that. They don't think that. But if you want to let them know why, I'll bet they'd hear you as long as you're not mean. So, I got an attitude about it because it really did irritate me. But I have to say, when you make people cry,
that's
when you
not
upset
right.
my baby,
that's not right.
You get me pissed off.
When you
And
upset
that's not
anybody.
Okay. Well, that's true. But, you know.
Well,
it's personal.
Yeah.
It's personal at that point because you hurt my baby. You made her cry. She cried on the way home. She
I
was so
didn't even
confused.
really cry inside the building.
We're repeating a lot now.
Sorry.
Anyway, we need to wrap it up, I think, because we've made our point.
Probably.
But is there anything else you want to say different from what you've already said?
I didn't know if it was okay to cry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's always okay to cry.
Well,
Emotions are fine. Emotions are fine.
They're okay.
You're allowed your emotions. Everyone is allowed their emotions. But we really should try to keep them in check enough we don't affect other people with them. You know, keep your emotions to yourself a little bit. I don't like to cry. I will say that. I don't like to cry. It's not something that if I know there's a movie that's going to make me cry, I'll wait until I'm ready for it to watch that movie and cry.
Yeah.
I try not to cry if I can help it, but to be fair, I wear contacts to it. It dries them out. It's really weird. And then I have a whole thing when I get home with them. But it's okay to cry. Yeah. It's okay to laugh.
Laugh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dad and I got in a lot of trouble at one of the movies we went to where we weren't supposed to be laughing, but it was funny. It was a horror movie, but it was funny. Sometimes you laugh when you're not supposed to. Sometimes you cry when you're not supposed to. It is what it is. Yeah. Shit was funny. Shit was sad. And
it's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. Sometimes it's okay to be angry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Well, like,
it is okay to be angry.
It's okay. But in this matter, doing that, like, that angry and expressing it in front of everyone instead of, like you've been saying, like, talking to the queen, saying, like, I don't think this is right. Can you answer some questions? Sit down. Talk with them. So, at Park Tavern, there's a manager. His name is Joshua Morris, and he runs Wednesdays Are Drag at Park Tavern. And during that moment, he had to stand up. And he was protecting who he loved, his community. And it was crazy. It was funny.
And as a manager, he's protecting the business and his guests, as well as the people that he was that were there that were his friends.
Yes. And like, Josh wasn't trying to fight. But when he went up to say the authorities have been called, the police are coming, they tried to fight him. They literally tried to hit him. And it was not okay. And and we all cried. I don't know if you cried, but I cried. I cried. And a lot
Honestly,
of the
a little
people,
bit of it was kind of funny. A little bit of it was just like so out there. It made me laugh. It was just so far out. It made me laugh. Not because it was actually funny, but wow. Funny.
It was like wow, because he's the type of person to be like, he's so nice. I love him. And when he stood up and took that microphone, when he was trying to protect everybody and get them to get out, it's crazy. I think even there's some of him screaming at the people to get out in the video that
he got very loud. He got very aggressive.
It was
a lot.
It was kind of funny. It was kind of funny.
And he cried afterwards. That was too much for him. He went too far for himself because it was a lot. It exhausted him.
He was crying.
He let them drain him for sure, which is unfortunate.
He wasted his energy on them, even though that was. I don't know if it was the right thing to do, but it was definitely a good thing.
For him, it was. He needed to do that for himself and for the people that he cared about. So I can absolutely stand behind and understand it. But he did let them get to him, and he let them drain his energy.
Yeah.
And he gave them more of his time than they deserved.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, at this point, we probably give them far more than they deserve. But
right.
It was worth talking about.
Yeah. It was good. It's a good thing to get out and talk about. Oh, yeah. We are going to do our socials. These are our socials.
All right. So you can find us on
TikTok. You can find us at A True Queen Show, all lowercase, all together. as one word.
All one big thing.
All one big word.
On
On
Instagram.
Instagram, you can find us at
Same thing. A True Queen Show
A True
on
Queen
Instagram.
Show, all the same thing, all lowercase, all as one word. You can find us on Facebook as A True Queen Show.
Well, A True Queen, not
A
show.
True Queen
On Facebook.
On Facebook.
And it's the 3 separate words. A True Queen.
Yeah. And yeah.
We have the anti-bullying flag.
Yes, the anti-bullying flag and the
drag queen flag.
Yeah.
But anti-bullying is going to be the main flag.
Yeah, and then our show for our thing for our podcast.
I try to keep
Facebook.
up with it, and if you send messages, I will read them.
Yeah.
If you are hateful,
we will read them and respond.
I will probably respond, and it probably won't be something you like, but if I'm responding, it's because I didn't like yours either.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to answer questions.
I love haters.
I would much rather. Well, yeah, it just means we're getting out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny too.
It is kind of funny.
At the same time, I would like for the hateful people to take a breath.
Yeah.
Be less hateful and maybe ask questions.
Yeah.
Rather than blame.
Yeah.
Or threaten.
Yeah.
Or anything negative. Let's not be negative.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's understand each other.